Welcome back. We're at Mending Threads, a transformational series. Now you know this is your safe place and stronghold for whole body wellness. So we have this morning a summary. We want to look at where we've been and where we're going. So one of the things is that you notice that most of the earlier visitors, we told stories, transformational stories, and we will be doing that throughout the series. And there will also be an intervention, a strong intervention series, and we will intertwine that beginning this morning. So one of the things that we covered was the beginning steps for transformation, which is beginning awareness within oneself and to know what you believe and begin to identify. So some of the things that we could do would be to write down some standards or beliefs that we have about life and about our health and wellness, our children in the world. And when we do that, those are the things that we want to stick with, and we'll develop our life plan around those things. So some steps that we did accomplish was to look at relaxation, to be in the moment, to recognize awareness, and also be who you are, and look at calmness and middle ground for everything that we're doing. So today we have with us some special people that are going to take us just a little bit further. We have with us Nurse Janice Sanders, who is with the Fort Bend County Black Nurses Association, who is our first guest. So I will introduce her to you. Okay, we're back with our first guest, Nurse Janice Sanders, registered nurse with the Fort Bend County Black Nurses Association. I'd like to say welcome to you this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
So I have you here this morning so I can get all of your secrets. You know, I want to see how did you get into nursing and what motivated you to do that, all that studying. And I saw all those letters after your name.
Oh, yeah.
I saw it, and I didn't know what all that was. So if you could share what all you've done and what you're trying to do to understand healthcare.
Graduated from Prairie View A&M University in 1977 from the best school for nurses.
Well, now that's just a little bit of question about it, but I did
really. They produce productive people.
Okay.
But I always wanted to go into a scientific field, and I just love to see how the body is on a continuum, how it heals itself. You know, from I love wound care, and you see how a wound is in such a bad shape, and then with your nursing care, helping the patient and all that, how it heals, how the body heals itself. And so I was always interested in that. And got an offer to go to Nebraska for school, because my boyfriend at the time, was my husband now, 40-something years, 44 years, he was going to school in North Dakota State. And I said, oh, I'll just go up that way. So my mother told me, who was a Prairie View graduate, she said, well, Dr. Griffin, she said, well, I'm sending your money to Prairie View, but you can go wherever you want to. Yeah. So, I say, you know, something click. I need to go where the money is. So that's why I ended up at Prairie View, and it was a great experience for me.
And your reputation follows you in terms of medicine, I've heard. So some of the things that I wanted to understand is, what is it that, speaking of wound care and other things, what is it that helps you think the body to, other things that could help the body to heal other than what you from your taking care of patients?
Well, when I worked at Jefferson Davis Hospital, I was a discharge planning nurse, and we had to write a lot of our own patient education material. And so I did a pamphlet on the total concept of wound care. And it's really, according to your theme and everything, it's really a mind-body connection. It's a total concept. The physical, the mental, nutritional, all and spiritual, all of that is involved in healing your body. If you don't eat right, you're not going to heal if you don't have the proper nutrition. And that's why when people are working with clients, you really need to look at the person as a whole. It's not just this entity, you know, and leave out nutrition, just changing the bandages. It's not just changing the bandages. It's their total nutrition. Because once you look at their tissue, if it's pale, gruddy, pussy, and all that, it's something wrong. If they're not getting the proper nutrition. And that's why we need to look at the elderly. If they can't eat properly, they can't heal properly. You know, so when we're looking at taking care of a person, we need to look at the total concept of taking care of a person.
Now, do you work with children at all? Do you work with young people at all?
Yeah, my primary focus right now, since I'm retired, is youth. I have 3 grandsons, 11, 8, and 4 going on 40. And the bullying in school is awful. And we've had to face a lot of that in the family. And so what I decided was, what could I do what strategies could I teach them to deal with bullying in the school? So I started researching, because I come from a family that if you want it fixed, fix it. But you got to Google it now and study it to see what it is, because you want to give them the truth.
I remember he took the bullying class that we had in 3rd Ward of Houston, and initially he was a little timid. And once he finished that education class and that bullying class, then we had another problem on our hands. He was a little bit overconfident and zealous, so then we had to work on toning that down. So I know what you're saying.
It was because you've been working with me since, I've been working with you since 2007 with that bullying. And I would, tell him different things, and he'd come home and say, that's not working. That is not working. That's why I referred him to you for counseling, to see what we could do. Because now the book says this, and that. But actuality, in real life, when it comes to that person is in your face, what do? You remember, and you tell them over and over, stay 1 arm distance away from the person. Because if you're this far away, they're not entering into your personal space, and it's hard for them to reach you. Okay, so he said, I did. Tell an adult, and you told him, write on the sheet what happened, this and that. Give it to an adult, give it to your teacher, give it to your nurse, someone that you trust.
But I think that we're talking about bullying, or we're talking about care. All of it is health care, and so to speak. But I think that many times we step back and we don't look at the cultural aspect of it, and that it depends on where you live, who you're around. It depends on your belief, where you've come from, as to how you're going to handle that and what you need to handle. So he was right. In some areas, that may not work. You may have to add a little bit of something to that. And I remember what worked for him at one time was to change the way that he looked at everything around him, how he would span the space, and his walking behavior really helped that. Because in some communities, that tells a story about what you think about yourself and what you might think that you're capable of doing.
Right.
So, you know, and so it's many other things. And I think even so in taking care of our health, that has a lot to do with it's still the same message, something similar.
Right. And when you did that test on him, I can't remember the exact name of the test. You know, I didn't have privy to be in the room, but you know, you came out and told me he's saying what he thinks that you want to hear.
Yes.
And so I said, how can he do that? So he's saying what he thinks I want him to say instead of his true feeling.
Yes.
And so I don't know. I guess he thought he had to pass the test instead of being truthful. Because you had him hooked up to some leads.
To my biofeedback.
Right.
Yes.
Can you explain that to me again?
Again?
Yes.
Well, biofeedback is conductance, and it uses, if you want to say the word perspiration, but it sends a neurological impulse to you have that in your fingers.
Right.
And so it then, it's not a control that comes in, it is something that you send out to the sensors, and the sensors are able to measure. And if you have any control of any concern about your thinking or memory or whatever, you can also put the sensor in the top of the head, and it'll let you know the percentage of the level of attention or the deficit of attention. But the person themselves learn about them, and they learn what internal balances out their thoughts. So they're looking at something, and they're able to control it from within as to how they feel in their control. So they know how calm they are, how excited they are, what photos, what pictures, what words and everything they respond to. And it's a training, just like anything else. You have to do it over a period of time.
Right.
To really master it yourself, to get better understanding of yourself.
So we did get him involved in an outside extra activity, like he's in football, and so that aggression he could take out. They work out, they exercise, they run, they could hit each other, and so we let him take that because, like you said, it kind of his anti-bullying strategies kind of backfired. Where he was really aggressive, you know, like if someone approached him, you know, he stood there, and the boy said, I was only speaking to you. But he was ready.
Yes. But you know, I think the karate helped him a little bit.
Yes.
So I think that was teaching him not to aggress, but to protect, but to defend.
Right.
You know?
So
to respect.
It works, but you have to have structure with it too.
So what's your most successful nursing experience? What do you think your most profound nursing is that you could recall when you think about that?
I always wanted to do community health nursing, and so that's when I went to Texas Southern and got my master's in health education. I thought I was going to work in the community, but I ended up working in the clinical area forever until I retired from the district.
You got your chance now, don't you?
Yeah.
You got your chance with the Body Faith Health Initiative, but strictly in the community. So you were destined. See, that was your destiny.
But I've worked, nurses. We worked 3 or 4 jobs at one time. But I've worked for several home health care agencies, even while I was working in the district.
Yes.
And so sometimes, but back in the day, back in the 80s and 70s.
Now you can go on back.
Okay. When everybody didn't want to take the Medicare patients. I don't know what stigma it was with it. To me, and when I got my doctorate, I did my paper on nursing. You know, where have we gone from comfort care to cost base?
Yes.
Why is that a problem? And I know financially we have to look at that, but we shouldn't put numbers on how we give care. And so I would always get in trouble because they said, you should not spend an hour in that home. You could see 2 more patients, 30 minutes, and get out of there. Do your treatment and get. I couldn't do it. I'd be in there.
Because the other needs that they had.
That's right. Because if I'm there to teach you how to do your insulin injections and all that, I got to teach you about the signs and symptoms of hypoglycemia. I got to assess your vital signs. I got to tell you about eating, your nutrition, you know, and rotating the sites where you give your injections, your foot care, and all of that. I just can't go in there and say, get the orange and show you how to give your injection.
There was one, as you were speaking, I was thinking, we were at the Johnson Library in Sunnyside, I think it was, and those families that were homeless stick in my mind, and you did so well with them. They were hesitant to come in, they needed help, and they came in and did their blood pressure and everything, and they really needed food. And so we arranged for food and everything, but when they left, they had been hesitant to go and get health care. And when they left, they directly went to the hospital that you sent them to. And they had children with them. Yes. They were living in a car, in a van, in Herman Park. And they made it over there when they heard it on the radio. Now that, to me, I keep that in mind in terms of nursing and full care, taking care of the person, referring them, and following up. So, you know, we could talk some more and more. So maybe you'll come back too. I'm always asking people to come, but when we do the implementation phase, I want you to definitely be here.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't talk about anything on this.
Oh, that's all right. We talked about it. Well, you can come back again. Okay.
But there is a true mind-body connection.
Matter of fact, we're trying to have the last week. The last week of the month, that particularly, that week, to really get into tidbits of the health care. Okay. You know. Okay, so I want to thank you for being here.
Thank you,
and I'll look forward to you doing it.
All right.
I want to thank Dr. Janice Sanders, our registered nurse, for being with us today and giving us all that wonderful information. And we also have another special guest with us today, Dr. Floyd Atkins, who is, I want to say, author, educator with us, and also with the Center for Wellness and Healing. So I want to thank you for being with us today.
So happy to be here.
I know. And so one of the things is I want to talk about the book that we're using for our class right now. And the book is entitled An Ounce of Prevention.
Yes. And
so I was wondering, how did you decide that you were going to write this book? And what is this about?
Well, The Ounce of Prevention is really a book I came up with because I lecture a lot to people. I'm always talking about health and wellness, but I always want to leave a takeaway with people to be able to understand what health and wellness means. And my approach to it, in our healthcare community, I practiced in the traditional healthcare setting for over 25 years, and it was always about treatment and management of disease or illness. And, you know, I said people really need to focus on being proactive about their health. That means you need to do something in advance. So that's where the word prevention came in. You know, in traditional healthcare, we talk about treatment, we talk about emergencies, but we don't talk about how do you prevent that. So that's why I call it an ounce of prevention. 5 powerful pearls that will preserve your life. Gives you 5 steps that you can take to even before you go to a doctor, or even before you have a health challenge. You want to know, what can I do to protect myself each and every day?
So you know, I want to ask now.
What's that?
What about the 5 pearls?
Oh, okay.
So can you just share
I'll give you a couple of them.
Okay, give me a couple.
Well, you know, number one thing is, and it goes back to detoxifying. A lot of people who want to make a lifestyle change or a health a change in their health, they start out by, well, I'm going to go and change my diet. But I always tell people that you don't want to put healthy, organic food into a toxic waste system. So you have to clean your body up. You know, my biggest question for everybody, I ask them, how often do you clean your bathroom? Do you clean it once a month? Do you clean it once a year? And they said, no, I clean my bathroom every day or every week at least. You know, I said, so your body, your whole system of your body, how often do you clean that? Oh, well, I've never done that. I said, well, that's synonymous to cleaning your toilet, your bathroom. You have to clean your body, so you want to do a detoxification. And detoxify basically means, you know, you can do it through fasting. A lot of people do what we call herbal-based detoxes, where they use herbs to cleanse. A lot of people can do juicing to detox. There are many ways to detox, depending on where you are and where you need to go.
So it's not that one detox will do one thing for you and the other one will not.
Right, exactly. Well, it's a process. You know, some people, based on where they are with their bodies, may need to take a slow process. It means we want to fast 1 day a week. You know, you fast maybe 12 hours a day, and then you don't eat food. Other things that you can cut down, that you only eat 1 meal a day, and you might drink liquids the rest of the day. But as you do that, you can actually start detoxing. You know, to do it through food, you want to always look at green drinks, green powders, green foods. Anything that's green or has chlorophyll in it has the capability of taking out heavy metals. It takes out a lot of toxic chemicals, a lot of the pesticides, herbicides in food. You reduce your consumption of those things by doing the green drinks. And then when we get deeper into it, you want to do an herbal-based detox, when you mean herbs like chaparral or herbs like burdock root, or herbs that actually help you cleanse your kidneys, cleanse your colon, cleanse different parts of your body.
So I'm sure that you're going to give us a little bit of this on a sheet of paper in writing, so we can share with our
artists. Oh yeah, I'd be happy to do that. You know, because it's a process. You know, what I want to say again about detox is, number one, when you do a detox, you always want to start off with cleansing your colon. You always hear people do a colon cleanse, and they consider it a detox. That's only the first step. A colon cleanse and a kidney cleanse, those are your 2 organs that are the roots of elimination out of your body. So you have to cleanse those first before you start really detoxing the rest of your body. So I'll give you that information.
Oh, please.
We'll have it on a pictorial that you can use to share with everyone.
I would like to do that. Plus, I think you've just encouraged me. I really do. Now, I know I've been dabbling around with my health and wellness for a while, and I think that I'm going to take the cleansing challenge and the wellness challenge. I think I'm going to start.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm going to use your guidelines, and then audience, you can check me out on this, and you can check me out on this once a week to see what's going on. And I'm going to let you know I'm trying to lose 20 pounds, but I want to do it in a healthy manner. Okay.
Well, I heard your affirmation. You said, I think I am, but I am.
Okay, I am. Because remember, we're working on detoxing our minds and our bodies.
Yes.
So all of the doubts I will.
Yes.
Okay, take the challenge, the wellness challenge. Now you're going to be what they call that accountability partner.
Yes.
So you're going to check me every week, and you can send me encouraging words now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's fantastic.
Okay,
You know,
good.
that's taking the first step of prevention.
Okay.
Yeah.
See.
One other point I'll share with you is nutrition, and you hear so much about that. And when I talk about nutrition, it's not a completely different approach, but it's an approach from what most people think about it. Most people, when they look at nutrition, they start counting calories, they start looking at carbs versus sugars, or they look at things like that. But you want to look at the foods you eat as a whole food. So, you know, with the program that we advocate, it's a 75% plant-based diet. So you're going to eat mostly raw, uncooked, unprocessed foods because you get the most nutrition out of that. The biggest part of detoxing is to nourish your body. You have to give your cells what they need to be able to kick off the bad things. So you want to have a whole food nutrition, you know, but what we take out of it is no flours, no sugars, no caffeinated beverages, starches, animal products, specifically the red meat products, because they really are a hindrance to detoxification.
So this is a big debate about the red
Yes.
meat. Can you share what happens with red meat, or what's the thing about it? You know, we live in Texas, and Texas is a big beef state.
Right.
Okay, so what is it that the beef is doing to the body? Explain.
Well, I'm not going to get into trouble that Oprah got into when she talked about me. But beef itself, you know, it's a food preference, you know, you know, and you know, I'm a minister also. You forgot to mention that.
That's right.
So in biblical times, you know, meat was what they had on the high holidays. It was a special diet. You know, when you killed a calf or you killed a lamb, that was for a special occasion. But in our society today, with the affluence in America, we eat meat every day. Not only every day, 3-4 times a day. Well, that's very difficult for the digestive system to process. It slows down digestion. Just to give you an example, if you were to eat a banana, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to digest that banana. But if you eat one hamburger, it would take you 4 to 6 hours to digest that one hamburger. So in 4 to 6 hours, doing that process, the hamburger can actually deteriorate. It can actually spoil in your system. You know, that's why I always tell people, you know, if you eat a plant-based diet, eat fruits, your body, you have less body odor. When you eliminate, you have less odor. But if you eat animal products, eat a lot of processed food, you have more odor, you have body odor, you have things that come out that are not there. So that's the main thing. And from a nutritional standpoint, everything you pick up with your mouth and put pick up with your hand and put it in your mouth should have a health benefit. So you want to know what every plant is doing for your body. In plants, you get the vitamins and minerals, the antioxidants, the phytochemicals. In sugars and starch, they're basically for energy. But when it comes to meat, you do get some vitamin B there, but it's not a lot of nutrition there for you. But people always look at the protein. Well, there are many sources of protein in the plant world and also in the animal world. Now, I'm not a 100% vegetarian. I don't consider myself a vegan. I don't like those titles because they even limit you to your diet. But you have to listen to your body and know what works for you. Because there are some people we get even in our office who are vegetarian who have a significant amount of health challenges. Or they say they're vegan and it's not working for them because they have another health challenges based on their diet. But for a person who's in a situation where they have a health challenge, they want to heal, they really need to remove the meat from their diet so their body can have the food and the fuel they need to heal. Yes. So I always recommend that. When it comes to, let me give you a quick diet tip. Okay. And we were talking about, you know, smoothies off camera, but I want to talk about it a little bit. One thing is in my personal life, what I do now is in the morning, getting up for breakfast is always a big challenge. People say, what do I eat for breakfast? Because, you know, I want to cut down on this and that. But breakfast is Standard American Diet. Standard American Diet stands for SAD, the SAD diet is what I call it. It advocates having cereals, it advocates having toast, it advocates having eggs and bacon and grits, you know, the Diddy Slam Bam, thank you ma'am diet. But that diet is actually not healthy for good nutrition because there's very little nutritional value. When you don't have live food in your diet, you're really lacking in what you need, when your body needs to make it through the day. So when you have fresh fruits, fresh vegetables as a part of your, in the morning, it just jumpstarts you off for the whole day.
So give me a little example of jump starting. So if we're taking the challenge, give me a little idea of what I'm gonna do now to detox, to eat breakfast, a little lunch, maybe if I so to do it, and a little dinner.
Okay.
Give me.
Well, number
Now
one.
I'm doing 80% raw.
80% raw,
I'm gonna do
fantastic.
that. Okay.
When you want to start off, you want to look at your day as it's rather than breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's
Okay.
3 meals a day.
Okay.
So in the morning, our meal is going to be a liquid meal.
Okay.
So we want to do a plant-based diet. So what I do in the morning is going to be a smoothie. So it's going to be a green smoothie with vegetables. For every 2 vegetables, I have 1 fruit. Most of the time, for every 3 vegetables, I have 1 fruit. To give you an idea, that will be things like cilantro. And it's a good detoxifier. You want to do kale or spinach or chard or collard greens or cabbage, whatever you prefer, and raw. You put a little of that in your blender, maybe half a cup. Also, I will put celery. Celery is a good detoxifier, and it also is a diuretic. So when people who have tendency toward high blood pressure or blood pressure fluctuates, celery is it can lower your blood pressure. Just a parsley and celery alone will lower your blood pressure by 5 to 10 points. So you can manage it that way. And then you want to add fruits. Low glycemic fruits. Low glycemic fruits are your berries, your mango, pineapples in between. You have to I guess, be cognizant of how much pineapple you use. You want to use not too much because some people go overboard with pineapple. And also, apple is a good one to use. And avocado, as a fruit, is a good fruit.
Yes.
Avocado gives richness and thickness to your smoothie. It makes it almost like a milkshake.
Yes.
But you can blend it all up, add ice. But you want to add 2 other things. You want to add some hemp seed. Add about a 1/4 to a half a cup of hemp seed. That's your protein. Eating a half a cup of hemp seed is equivalent to eating 4 ounces of steak with the protein level in it. And I also add ginger root. Ginger root is a good anti-inflammatory, so for joint pain, for energizing, works great. And a dash of cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper is like your coffee boost in the morning because it's going to stimulate you, it's going to wake you up. And that's breakfast. I'll drink anywhere from 16 to 24 ounces of smoothie in the morning. I drink that from 8 to 12. Then after 12 noon, you can start your solid food diet. And that's going to be something like a salad. You want to get a big, colorful salad. You want to have your reds, your greens, your orange, your purple. So you look at fruits and vegetables that are those colors, because colors are what you need for the antioxidants. And then leafy green, no iceberg lettuce. So and we can't do romaine lettuce now because we constantly having bacterial problems with our romaine lettuce. So I always recommend using kale, baby kale. You can use a mixed green salad. You can also use spinach. And be careful with the spinach too, but you can use the spinach. All of those as your greens, and that's your salad. And have protein. In the detox program, we recommend to do it plant-based as much as possible. But some people are not there yet, so transitional foods would be like doing some salmon or doing a fish. Me personally, the only 2 fish I really trust right now is the wild-caught Alaskan salmon. And then you can have, if you can find a farm-raised tilapia, this sounds very specific, it was raised or was from Costa Rica or from Peru. So when you talk to your fish market, he should be able to tell you where that fish came from, because those are the ones that are healthy. Anything other than that, I'm suspect. And in the evening, again, dinner, you can have the salad again, 2 salads a day, because salad is always good. Make sure you get your 80% raw in. That means when you eat a plate of food like this, if you have a plate of food, you cut your plate in half, then half that food has to be your salad. Then you can have another raw dish. A simple raw dish is like coleslaw. People like coleslaw, but it's cabbage, green cabbage, and it's raw. Or you can have the tomatoes and cucumbers and put a vinegar on it and make it like you see those at the restaurants. And that's another raw dish. And then the other 4th can be something like a beans or rice.
Now I noticed that you didn't mention anything about dessert.
I did?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so some of us have a little craving toward dessert.
Okay.
What gives us a healthy something that we could I'm
gonna make it really easy for you.
Okay.
Now, in the morning when you made that smoothie, well, what you want to do is you want to put 1 vegetable and 3 fruits, and you mix it up in the blender. You can add some almond milk to it. You can add coconut water to it. That's your natural sweetness. If you take mango, banana, and maybe pineapple, or mango, banana, and strawberry, and you put it in the blender, and you make a nice smoothie. You pour it in your coffee mug, since we're not drinking coffee during this detox program, and you put it in the freezer and you freeze them. So you actually have a frozen fruit smoothie.
Okay.
If you add almond milk or avocado to it, it's going to taste just like ice cream. And it's a wonderful dish.
This is on for the menu for tonight.
Yes. So when you make smoothies in the morning, you take half of it, you can freeze it, the other half you drink through the day.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Well, look, show us your book.
Yes.
Is it anything in your book that would sum up any one chapter that would really motivate us to move toward this preventive?
Well, yeah. What I always recommend is the nutrition chapter. You know, I have a chapter in here about how to detoxify your home environment, because you have to clean up your house and your pantry also.
We're going to come back on that next week.
Yes.
We're going to be talking about that.
And then I want to be on the show when you talk about stress management,
Yes, we're
because
gonna
how
do that.
food affects stress and how
That's right.
stress affects food is an
Right.
important topic. But the topic of nutrition is most important, because the biggest problem to people making that lifestyle change is making a transition from traditional eating and their eating
Yes.
habits and their I call it their addictions. So once you can learn how to let those go, lifestyle change becomes a lot easier.
Well, thank you. And I mean, we had it all today. We have our pastor, we have our author, educator,
Yes.
okay, and our wellness provider.
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me.
Okay, sure. And I look forward to you coming back with some of the other. You can bring some smoothies next time.
I will.
You know, thank
I
you.
will.
I thank both of our guests for being here, Dr. Janice Sanders and Dr. Floyd Atkins for being with us today. And remember, we're talking about stress and trauma, the life situations every day that impact our wellness. And know that you're a part of this process. So what I want you to do is to go to ips.health1@gmail.com. Please send me a note that you're participating. Any questions that you have for either guest here or any prior guest, let me know. Let me know that you're my accountability partner. Send me your photo, and I'll look forward to seeing you on next week.